1916, the U.S. government predicted that by the 1940s all paper would come from hemp and that no more trees need to be cut down. Government studies report that 1 acre of hemp equals 4.1 acres of trees. Plans were in the works to implement such programs. Quality paints and varnishes were made from hemp seed oil until 1937. 58,000 tons of hemp seeds were used in America for paint products in 1935. Henry Ford's first Model T was built to run on hemp gasoline, and the car itself was constructed from hemp. On his large estate, Ford was photographed among his hemp fields. The car, grown from the soil, had hemp plastic panels whose impact strength was 10 times stronger than steel. In 1938, on the cover of Popular Mechanics, the title read, "Hemp called billion-dollar crop. It was the first time a cash crop had a business potential to exceed $1 billion." Mechanical Engineering magazine published an article entitled "The Most Profitable and Desirable Crop That Can Be Grown." It stated that if hemp was cultivated using 20th century technology, it would be the single largest agricultural crop in the United States and the rest of the world. The following information comes directly from the United States Department of Agriculture's 1942 14-minute film encouraging and instructing patriotic American farmers to grow 350,000 acres of hemp each year for the war effort. When Grecian temples were new, hemp was already old in the service of mankind. For thousands of years, even then, this plant had been grown for cordage and cloth in China and elsewhere in the East. For centuries prior to about 1850, all the ships that sailed to the western seas were rigged with hempen rope and sails. For the sailor, no less than the hangman, hemp was indispensable. Now with Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy as well as of our industries. When the Navy's rapidly dwindling reserves are gone, American hemp will go on duty again. Hemp for mooring ships, hemp for tow lines, hemp for tackle and gear, hemp for countless naval uses both on ship and shore, just as in the days when old Ironsides sailed the seas victorious with her hempen shrouds and hempen sails. Hemp for victory. Hemp cultivation and production do not harm the environment. The USDA Bulletin No. 404 concluded that hemp produces 4 times as much pulp with at least 4 to 7 times less pollution. It has a short growing season. It can be grown in any state. The long roots penetrate and break the soil to leave it in perfect condition for the next year's crop. The dense shock of leaves 8 to 12 feet above the ground chokes out weeds. Hemp, this new crop, can add immeasurably to American agriculture and industry. In the 1930s, innovations in farm machinery would have caused an industrial revolution when applied to hemp. This single resource could have created millions of new jobs, generating thousands of quality products. Hemp, if not made illegal, would have brought America out of the Great Depression. William Randolph Hearst and Hearst Paper Manufacturing Division of Kimberly-Clark owned vast acreage of timberlands. The Hearst Company supplied most paper products. Patty Hearst's grandfather, a destroyer of nature for his own personal profit, stood to lose billions because of hemp. In 1937, DuPont patented the processes to make plastics from oil and coal. DuPont's annual report urged stockholders to invest in its new petrochemical division. Synthetics such as plastics, cellophane, celluloid, methanol, nylon, rayon, Dacron, etc. can now be made from oil. Natural hemp industrialization would have ruined over 80% of DuPont's business. Andrew Mellon became Hoover's Secretary of the Treasury and DuPont's primary investor. He appointed his future nephew-in-law, Harry J. Anslinger, to head the Federal Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. Secret meetings were held by these financial tycoons. Hemp was declared dangerous and a threat to their billion-dollar enterprises. For their dynasties to remain intact, hemp had to go. These men took an obscure Mexican slang word, marijuana, and pushed it into the consciousness of America. A media blitz of yellow journalism raged in the late 1920s and 1930s. Hearst's newspapers ran stories emphasizing the horrors of marijuana. The menace of marijuana made headlines. Readers learned that it was responsible for everything from car accidents to loose morality. Films like Reefer Madness, Marijuana, Assassin of Youth, and Marijuana, the Devil's Weed, were propaganda designed by these industrialists to create an enemy. Their purpose was to gain public support so that anti-marijuana laws could be passed. Examining the following quotes from The Burning Question, also known as Reefer Madness. It states that marijuana is a violent narcotic, causes acts of shocking violence, causes incurable insanity, has soul-destroying effects, and a man under the influence of the drug killed his entire family with an axe. More vicious, more deadly even than those soul-destroying drugs, heroin and cocaine, is the menace of marijuana. Reefer Madness did not end with the usual "the end." The film concluded with these words plastered on the screen: "Tell your children." In the 1930s, people were very naive, even to the point of ignorance. The masses were like sheep waiting to be led by the few in power. They did not challenge authority. If the news was in print or on the radio, they believed it had to be true. They told their children, and their children grew up to be the parents of the baby boomers. On April 14, 1937, the prohibitive marijuana tax law, or the bill that outlawed hemp, was directly brought to the House Ways and Means Committee. This committee is the only one that can introduce a bill to the House floor without it being debated by other committees. The chairman of the Ways and Means, Robert Doughton, was a DuPont supporter. He ensured that the bill would pass Congress. Dr. James Woodward, a physician and attorney, testified too late on the behalf of the American Medical Association. He told the committee that the reason the AMA had not denounced the marijuana tax law sooner was that the association had just discovered that marijuana was hemp. Few people at the time realized that the deadly menace that they had been reading about on Hearst's front page was in fact passive hemp. The AMA understood cannabis to be a medicine found in numerous healing products sold over the last 100 years. In September of 1937, hemp became illegal. The most useful crop known became a drug, and our planet has been suffering ever since. Congress banned hemp because it was said to be the most violence-causing drug known. Anslinger, head of the Drug Commission for 31 years, promoted the idea that marijuana made users act extremely violent. In the 1950s, under the communist threat of McCarthyism, Anslinger now said the exact opposite. Marijuana will pacify you so much that soldiers would not want to fight. Today, our planet is in desperate trouble. Earth is suffocating as large tracts of rainforest disappear. Pollution, poisons, and chemicals are killing people. These great problems could be reversed if we industrialized hemp. Natural biomass could provide all of the planet's energy needs that are currently supplied by fossil fuels. We have consumed 80% of our oil and gas reserves. We need a renewable resource. Hemp could be the solution to soaring gas prices. Hemp has a higher quality fiber than wood fiber. Far fewer caustic chemicals are required to make